3. We are not live, but we are alive. Gary and Sarah Payne, our guest, is in the house today. And we are going to be creating magic with some felt flowers, making them the easy way. Yes, I can't wait, lovely Sarah Payne. It's what you brought for us this week. We love having our guests, don't we, Gary? Because it means Gary doesn't come up with any ideas. See, it wasn't about guests, Sarah. It was just because Gary said, I can't. I'm out. I'm out of ideas.
Diva.
I know. He did. He actually put his hand like that as he sent me a picture. I'm out of ideas. No, he didn't really. So I want to say to our lovely YouTube viewers as well, thank you for watching us. If you like our content, Sarah, put your thumbs up. Gary, put your thumbs up. Everybody, please press the thumbs up for us. Ding, because it means then that we get out into the algorithm. If you can leave us a little comment underneath or a little emoji even, that would be wonderful. And of course, if you subscribe, hit the bell, be notified when we put our content up, which is every Friday. We would love that too. We are getting a very nice merry gang of folks, I have to say. A merry gang of folks. I've gone back to Robin Hood times there. Folks, I'm on the Shakespearean stage, which you should know about, Sarah, because you recently went to see, I shouldn't say it, should I? The Scottish play. And one last thing, the link is below. You will notice I am wearing pink. Sarah has got a pink drink. Gary has got his pink blanket because it is the month of October. It is Pinktober. It is breast cancer awareness. We've actually started a little fundraising page. And if you would like to give a little to that page, if you feel inspired by our content and think, you know what, they're all sitting there doing this for nothing, which we are, and I'm going to put a £5 in the pot or whatever it is, that would be lovely. The link is below. Sarah Payne, just give us a little brief moment of who you are, because some of our YouTube lovelies might not know who you are.
Well, it's one of those things when people say, what do? You go, So I'm a quilter predominantly, but I love anything crafty and yarny, and I like to paint, and I just like to be creative with my hands, anything that lets me do stuff. And I think crafting has on a couple of occasions literally saved my life. So when we're talking about, mindfulness and the importance of using our hands, I know that from personal experience. And when I do find life a little bit of a struggle, because we all do, I'm a very busy person, I go to that place where I pick up a needle and thread, or I pick up a paintbrush or a colouring pencil, and sort of sit and have a little doodle. But so I'm a teacher, I'm an author, I'm a quilter, I design quilts, I design fabric, and I am constantly busy. So I do often struggle to find ways to switch off my brain. And things like crochet, hand embroidery, those are the things that I use to really slow down that voice in my head.
Which is really important. And as you say, Sarah, a lot of us, do struggle. And that's one thing that Gary and I have talked a lot about on this channel as well, because, you look at social media. I read somewhere the other day, and I don't know if it's true, that, only 1% of social media is true. The 99% is completely curated. I don't know if that's true, but it was a good way of looking at it, in that most of what you see on social media is all curated. And I actually put a reel out the other day that was taken from our retreat that we did, which of course you two involved with, you teaching on it. And I did say it was World Mental Health Awareness Day. And I said, you might look at this video and look at all these people and think, why is my life not like that? Look at them all laughing and smiling and everybody's happy. And I'm sat here feeling depressed or anxious. And I said in that video that there were lots of people on that retreat who were going through very real personal struggles. There was a lady who had not been out since COVID. This was her first time away. There was a lady who had sadly lost her husband. There was a lady who had sadly lost her daughter. And, people were going through grieving processes and anxiety in some cases. And it was coming together and being creative that really sort of took their minds away from things. And so I think it really does do something to the brain. What do you think it is for you, Sarah, that, you were saying there, it sort of slows down the brain. So is it just the sort of rhythmical movements of doing something, or is it that you start to visualize and you lose yourself in your creativity? It's a bit of an open book answer, really, but
I think it's both of those things, really. I live alone, and the voices in your head when you're on your own can get quite loud, considering you're
Yeah.
sitting on your own.
Yeah.
And actually sitting down and being creative is just giving me something that I can focus on, that takes me away from those negative thoughts or the negative voices that we all have in our heads. And actually focusing on something that's outside of myself, so something that's in my hands. I can put the radio on. I love Audible. I listen to stories, podcasts. I can put those on, and then I just focus on what's in my hands, and everything else that's just going on around here, it just quietens it.
Yeah.
And I have tinnitus as well, which possibly a lot of people don't necessarily know. I wear hearing aids and I have tinnitus, which means that I've always got noise. And again, that can get overwhelming when I'm sitting there on my own. So having something to focus on means that that sort of noise is actual real noise is deadened.
That's the wonderful thing about just being creative by yourself is, there isn't any judge, there isn't any prize givings here. We're not winning anything. We're not trying to win anything. It is just about the playing aspect of it, isn't it? And the creativity. Where do you think is a good place to start, Sarah? I mean, obviously, Gary and I would say here, because we have got like 65 tutorials now where people can use simple things around the home and just start doing something. But where do you think, if people think, well, I'd like to start sewing and I've got a sewing machine, I've not had it open for 3 years, what would you suggest that they do?
I always say to people who say to me, I've got a sewing machine and I don't know where to start, I say, get it out of the box for the first step.
Yeah.
Because quite often we find people are using them as doorstops,
Yes.
rather than what they're intended for. But just pick up projects. There's something you like, something you look at and you go, okay, I really like that fabric, I really like that pattern. Because if you've got the pleasure of making it, because you're enjoying looking at the colors, you're enjoying looking at the threads, if you're starting from that point, that little voice that goes, you can't do this, gets quietened, I think, a little bit, because you should be enjoying the journey. It's not all about where you're going. And if you go off a little bit and you go over there and you make a mistake and you have to look something up on YouTube and there's a term that you don't understand, just take it slowly. Just take it slowly and peacefully, and enjoy the process.
Just thinking, if you fancy trying a little bit of quilting, like a 9-patch, just a really simple little assembly of some fabric, even just take 2 squares, sew around the edge, cut diagonally across the middle, open them up, then join them again, turn them, cut them, turn them, and join them up. Just play, as long as you can just practice first of all with just a straight seam. Just see how you make a straight seam, see if you can just get the same seam, the same distance all the way in. That takes a bit of skill, just being in, keeping it nice and straight. Can you back lock the stitch? Do you know how to do that? If you don't, have a look on the internet, see put in backlock stitch, and it'll show you. And if you want to do a few more projects, obviously come to us, because we've got loads of free projects as well as ones that you can download and pay, so
you can find so many classes and videos. We've done loads here, so there's loads on the website, there's loads of classes on our website, craftingmonkeys.com. There are lots of tea time tutorials. There are lots of other videos that Sarah and Gary both featuring, as well as other people like Janet Clare and all sorts of sewers making lovely little projects and blocks, so you can learn how to make some of those blocks that Gary was talking about. Sarah's always doing loads of amazing Facebook demos that you can just join in with. So do try and reach out and do something new, and you'll just become part of the community and hopefully feel a little bit better, as will we now, because we are going to do a lovely exercise with Sarah. We asked Sarah to bring in something. Yes, a lovely flower. And this is something that is hopefully easily accessible for you to get. And
yes.
Actually, just before this start of this recording, I was going to use a Sainsbury's magazine and make a paper one. And Sarah said, we just need some glue then. But then I found a tiny scrap of rubbish felt. And I thought, oh, pink, fitting with the old breast cancer theme. So I've decided to do it out of felt, but you could do it out of a piece of paper. So we're going to show you how to do that in a second. But just to say as well, just for you, Sarah, I brought a very special drink today. That's about the amount of gin that Sarah drinks on a night out, I have to say.
Busted.
It's water. But can I just tell you a little brief story? Little brief story about this. So Sarah took me away for a little weekend away. It was about this time last year, actually. And we went to this place, and it was very odd because the girl only opened the bar for like an hour and a half in this place that we're staying in. So I think at sort of 9:30, she announced, and we'd had one gin and tonic, that she was closing. And Sarah had gone to get the drinks. Anyway, Sarah walked back with a gin and tonic for me, like a regular gin and tonic. And then she walked back with this, with some ice in. And it was literally like that. And I said, oh, have you just gone for the water? She went, no, I've got 4 gins in there. She's going to close at 9:30. I'm going to stock up. Is that true, Sarah?
It's the only thing I drink.
Yes.
Right. Let us. She's not drinking.
I'm so
today.
busted.
I know. She's not drinking today because she has got her water. Right. Okay. Let's bring your hands into view.
Okay. Now here I've got one sample that I've made out of journaling card, because I don't have a lot of paper, but a friend did give me some journaling card. It's a little thick to do this particular pattern, because trying to bend it and trying to shape it was a little bit tricky. But the shapes and the technique are exactly the same. So you could do it with a magazine. You could do it. I thought it would be really nice to do it like an old map or something, but I couldn't find. I couldn't find an old map that I wanted to cut up. You do need it to be double-sided if you're using paper or card, which is why journaling paper is okay. Now this one is done with glue, but the felt one is done with obviously a needle and thread. Okay, now we're coming autumnal, and this is one of the I'm often seen with a flower in my hair, and this is one of the techniques that I used to make my hair flowers. And then I bring in like little pearls, little bits of bead and things like this, but they look rather lovely, and you're going to be very disappointed when you see how easy they are. Okay, you go, that's amazing. Oh God, that's easy. Right. So there's no templates. I'm going to cut a strip of my felt. This is about, I don't know, 2 inches wide.
Yeah.
Technically known as yay big.
Yay big.
Or how big is it? Yay big.
I love it.
And then I'm just going to cut out some circles out of that.
This is for the flower, obviously. Yes.
This is for the flower. So whether you're doing this with the paper or the felt, it's exactly the same.
So all the circles, the same size, or can I do
various? Roughly. When we get to do the very outside ones, we'll do them slightly bigger.
Okay.
But they don't have to be perfect circles. You don't need to draw around an egg cup or anything like that.
So you just eyeball in a circle.
Yeah.
And just cutting
around. And I've just folded these over, so I've got 4 straight away. Okay. And you can embellish these as well. I mean, you can put wax or fabric paints along the edge of your felt to give it some sort of definition, but I just like to keep it simple.
Perfect.
All right, so with the first petal, just grab one of them,
right,
and what we're going to do is we're going to pinch the bottom and roll round.
Oh, we do like a pinch the bottom and a roll around, don't we, Sarah?
Sorry?
We do like a pinched bottom and a bit of a roll around. Sorry.
Again, I've told you not to tell all my secrets. So if your circles come out slightly wonky, and it's slightly pointy on one side, you can always hide that in the bottom.
Okay.
But so you can see there, I've just rolled that into a cone. I'm going to grab my needle and thread. Now, I would do this in white because my felt is white. But if I did it in white, you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So I've chosen a darker thread. But I often use little scraps that are left left in my bobbins, you know, for this stage, you know, little scraps.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing a couple of stitches to hold that
In place.
together.
Yeah.
All right. And there's the center of our rose.
Okay.
I'm going to take another one. I'm going to bring my thread at the back of that. All right. And then the next one, I'm going to tuck slightly off center. So it's not completely like that. It's like that. And bring that round and pinch.
Yes.
And you can give them sort of definition by kind of that bit there. I'm folding back a little bit. And secure with a few stitches. I mean, you can do this with fabric circles and you end up with like a shabby chic sort of frayed edge to your rose.
You could use denim, couldn't you? This would work quite. If you had some denim, you could actually, that would be quite nice.
Yeah, you could do
It's
a little brooch
so
then,
simple.
couldn't you? You could do a brooch.
Yes.
You do, yeah. But I'm just thinking some nice sort of thick denim could be quite sort of on trend, quite nice to use your old pair of jeans or something that's worn out and then cut that.
Yes.
Especially if you just went for the, you know, it didn't matter if it frayed, and actually you could make it fray a little bit more and it would look quite nice as a feature.
Yeah.
Right.
And
one thing I did think sitting here before I came online was crisp packets.
Oh yeah.
Make it out of crisp packets.
Yeah.
Because I was looking in my bin and I've got some pickled onion monster munch in there. And I thought, oh, I could make a but so I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to pinch it round.
Yeah.
And all the time we're finishing about the same space at the bottom.
Right.
You know, we don't want to get it too high. But you can see we're now covering the other half of that center bit.
Just talk about crisp packets. Sarah, did you do that thing where you used to shrink them in the oven or under the grill? Did you used to do that?
No, but I have seen it.
We used to do that at
YouTube.
school. We used to shrink them and make them into badges and put them in the oven and stuff. I don't know if they're made from the same material these days.
I don't know. Right, so now with the next one, because I've almost covered round with those three, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my fourth petal and I pinch it in the middle, and then I pinch those side bits back. And you see it gives me a bit of a petal shape. Yeah. And then I'm going to stitch that on the other side. Now you will find that it's starting to get a bit tricky to get all the way through with your needle, all the way through the middle. So just tack into the edges like that. You see, we're starting to get...
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with mine.
What you do have to be careful about is that you try and keep these quite high up. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you end up with, like, you know, when your cabbage has gone to seed and you end up with that really long cabbagey thing. You don't really want that.
No.
Right, so there's 4. I'm going to cut another strip about the same size. And this is great for the kids because you don't have to do, there's no measuring. It doesn't really matter whether they're dead circles or not.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no templates, no measuring.
Okay. How many circles have we got to cut this time, Sarah?
I'm still just cutting 4.
Just 4, okay.
Because basically, I just keep adding them until I look at my rows and go, yeah, that's done.
Yeah. And are they slightly bigger this time?
No, you can keep them about the same size. You'll see
Size.
this.
Yeah.
As we sew more, they sort of flatten out. Doesn't help
Right.
that I sat on this one in the car. But sort of these very edge ones will be quite flat.
Yes.
So we don't need to increase the size too much. All right. So now I'm going to get another one. So as we keep adding them, you'll see you don't want to put them on like that. You want to put them off kilter a bit like that. So
Yeah.
you're filling in the gaps between the previous sort of set. Every now and again, give one a pinch. Let me grab another one.
You still wearing your blanket, Gary?
Yeah, I still got it on.
I just looked up there and thought, who's that? Who's that little old lady in the corner?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not actually. I mean, it's not as if it's gone quite cold enough yet to be wearing a blanket. I mean, it is quite mild, but I will probably be living like this for the rest of the winter.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I was just saying, find something pink, and I think I've got nothing pink in my wardrobe, which is incredible. And so yeah, I thought, I know what I've got. I have got a pink crochet blanket in the cupboard that everyone takes the mickey out of. But I love my little blanket, so yeah.
How are we getting on?
Yeah, good.
I'm all right. I'm
So
enjoying
keep rotating round. And you'll see if you look at the bottom, as you're adding them, it's starting to flatten out. And that's what we want.
I'm not sure mine is going to win any prizes at Gardener's World, but that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And the thing is, go through your jewellery box, find old broken bits of jewellery. Also in the kind of, when you go to sort of Hobbycraft, and they've got those end of lines little bridle bits.
Yes, yeah, good idea.
I add those as well to my felt flowers. You can put them in the centre, and it just makes it look a little bit fancier.
Yeah.
But you can see I'm not being neat with my stitches. Sorry?
A bit of bling.
Yes. Yep. Oh, always add. There's always room for bling.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at mine now, and I need more this side and this side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut another row. You should get 16 petals out of your 10-inch square of felt.
And I think just don't be, you know, at first I was like, how are you pinching it? How are you folding it? But, you know, you don't have to be too precious about it, actually.
Nope.
Just build it up.
And it doesn't have to be particularly round.
No.
Look, that's not necessary. Because if you look at rose petals, they have like little jagged edges on them, and they have little imperfections in them. And nobody says a rose is ugly.
No.
I'm going to pop one in there.
I love it. I love just building it up, actually. As you say, just sort of balancing it out, really.
Yeah. And it's super easy to do. And you can see mine, it's starting to flatten out, which is what I want. Because we do want a flat bottom to our flower eventually.
I've had a flat bottom for years, Sarah.
Just showing off now, aren't you?
No, I don't want a flat bottom. I want a nice little round bottom, but I've always had a flat bottom. I have. It's got even worse when I've got older.
Dear, oh dear.
We've
Right.
got Gary with his blanket, we've got me with my flat backside, and Sarah with her treble gins and a look at us.
Right.
Specimens. Right.
Right. So I've used 12.
12. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm only on
5,
8.
8.
That's
I'm on
right.
8. I'm on 8. Sarah, she's whizzing ahead.
She is whizzing
We're a
ahead.
bit slow here. No, it's all
That's all
right.
right.
And I was going
Teacher
to say,
always does it faster.
the felt, I like the felt because it's actually easy to get the needle through.
Yes.
It's not too bad. I can imagine it. And I think you should try other fabrics, but I think you might have to think about how much your needle's got to go through if you're choosing whatever you're choosing.
Yes. This is just sort of those sheets of acrylic felt, craft felt.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing expensive. And you can get these sheets for like 50p and you can make a flower.
They're ideal.
50p.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you say, I always keep a little scrap bag. If I've worked with felts on anything, I've always got a little bag of all my bits, and you can always get some circles out of some of them. So you'll be able to use them for, use up all your scraps for this. So
Yeah.
lovely.
Well, that's
And
all I
mix up the
used.
colours too.
Yeah, that's all I used was I just literally found some scrap felt. I've got no idea where it came from, but there was enough.
Because you had a panic, didn't you? You just went,
Yeah.
oh no, I've got to go and buy some felt.
Yeah, but then I didn't, and I thought, well, that doesn't matter. I'll use some paper, and then found some felt in the last minute. So, and that's what we try and do here is to use things that people have. We don't want people going off and spending a fortune.
No, this is the kind of craft felt that you get for the kids.
Yeah,
and they make little projects with it.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you can see the white.
Oh, yes. Yes. I think I've got probably roughly about 12 petals as well now. So I'm just really making sure that I've got all those final petals really like stitched in and they're not going to come away.
And stitch them to each other. Don't worry about stitching through the whole lot because it's going to be quite dense in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of stitching around the outside like this. And because it's felt, I mean, I've only got a black Sharpie here, but if I had like a pink Sharpie, I could come in and if I had a Sharpie that worked, there we go, come in and just add a little definition.
Oh, wow.
It's not the best with the black, and it's not the best Sharpie either. Would I be showing off if I said this is my book signing Sharpie?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're allowed to.
I do actually have one on here for when I sell a book and someone wants it signed. But you see, you can do a little bit of definition around the edge of your petals.
Well, let's go around the room and see how we're getting on. So, Gary, I'll add you in.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Oh.
So I've done a red rose.
Ooh.
I'm getting there. I'm just manipulating it a bit because I've got it. It's almost like a rose it's not carnation, camellia, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe because it's quite open.
These are more dog roses than...
Yes, so more flat rose and a tight bud rose. But no, and I love actually with the felt, the warmth of your hands, what you can do is just go in and just pinch. I'm just pinching and then it manipulates each of the petals. So you can just curl them over, which I quite like. So you can add it starts to make it a little bit more real, like the rose is just unfurled there. And I like that. So yeah, I like that. That's all right. That's all right.
Well, I'll show you mine.
Let's have a look, Rachel.
And what I've done is I've just stuck some pins through the middle, which have got little beaded heads on. So obviously I wouldn't be able to keep them on, but I wanted to show what it was like if you had some jewellery. So I'll add my spotlight. There we are, look.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yes.
And actually, because you've done that with the creased felt, it looks like a really natural rose.
Yeah.
Like a hybrid tea or something.
Yeah. Really sweet.
It is, and it's beautiful with that in the centre. It does look more like a poppy or a camellia.
Yeah.
So to finish, if you want to, I've just cut some leaves out of my green felt.
Yeah.
So if you have a second colour,
I do.
and then again, it's not brain surgery. You can see I folded it over and I kind of went and then back the other way. So I've got a petal shape, and rose petals have like little bits on them. They're not straight. So I've just come in here and just cut off some bits to give it a bit of a rosy edge, like that. There we go. It just gives it a bit more definition. Right, so there's one. You're both so quiet.
I know, we're so I'm really concentrated, Sarah. I'm really concentrated. So yeah, I love that. And you're right. Do you know, oh, I don't know if they look more like holly leaves, but it's just those little extra little details that just sort of, like you say, just it's not just a flat leaf. It actually has got some little bits of little nicks taken out of it.
Yeah.
You can see that you're much more practiced at this than us, because it's like my nicks look a bit, as I said, they're almost like they're like little mini Christmas trees come holly, but I think they'll be fine. I think they will give the idea behind me red rose, I'm sure.
Yeah. So then I just stitch them on the bottom, and then I have to decide whether I'm doing 2 or 3 on mine. So it depends on what I'm going to do with it. If I'm going to wear it in my hair, I tend to do 2 because the third one gets in the way. But if it was a brooch or a corsage, I would do 3 like that. But all we're doing then is going onto the back and do a few stitches just to secure it. Now again, if I'm making mine into a hair flower, I will actually get a crocodile clip and a glue gun and glue it on the back.
Yes. Oh no, I don't think I've got enough felt to do a second leaf that's going to be seen. Let me see.
So when I'm putting my crocodile clip on the back, which actually I couldn't find any today, imagine this is my crocodile clip. All right. So that's my clip on the back. What I will do is, with my glue gun, I will take a little bit of felt and I will glue that over the top side of my crocodile clip. So it just looks neater on the back.
Yes, that's a nice way of finishing it. Lovely.
It is, because that will hide any stitches and it holds that crocodile clip in place. Because trying to glue metal to something, it can be a bit tricky with a glue gun and a bit messy. So if what you do is put a little bit of glue with your glue gun and then use your glue gun to cover it with felt like that, it looks all neat.
It does. Lovely. A lovely finish.
With the paper, I've done exactly the same thing. The only thing is the glue I've got is not particularly quick drying. So I did the same thing, but I had to clip it between each leaf. Between each petal to hold it in place. And then we can curl that back as well. But it's the same thing, just circles, all roughly the same size. Nothing too complicated. And there we go.
I'm really pleased with mine. I'm loving it. I love that. Yeah. And I could see, do you know, you could take the same principle and actually, if you slightly cut it off constructed it. You could make poppies for Poppy Day as well,
Yeah.
couldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at mine being red with the green. And I'm thinking, oh, it's sort of a rose, but is it a poppy? But I think if I just sort of like thought about maybe the petal shape and looked at poppies, and maybe had, like you said, a black center. If you just did a black round, you could use a black round button, couldn't you? Or cover a button in some black felt, and then
actually
build
Rachel's look
petals.
very poppy-like.
It does, yes. Let's have Rachel. So Rachel, if you just put, instead of the coloured beads in the middle, if we put a black button and that really floppy, almost like crease up the felt first before you use it, crush it all up, because poppy leaves, poppy petals are very sort of almost like crushed, aren't they? So it could work really well. I love that.
I like it. I really like it. And like I say, it's just that mindful process. I mean, I would have added more leaves. I think you guys stopped and I thought, oh, well, I'll not leaves, petals. Because I probably would have done another one here, and then maybe, you know, another one around here or something. I would have done probably more. But you know, it's just been a lovely little fun project to do, you know. And actually it's quite nice. It sits on my pincushion.
It does look rather lovely on there.
So
and the thing is, you could make these and sell them.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, you could.
Especially with poppy season coming up, and you want to raise money for charity.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not used the whole sheet. I do actually have another strip left, so I could do another 4 petals. So I've used 12 petals. But if you're thinking about doing things that are cost effective, or perhaps you've got a wedding and you want everybody to have like a little corsage, instead of it being actual flowers, that's something they can keep.
And I did like the idea, especially on like the lighter the felts, with just almost like putting a tinge of colour on the edges with Sharpie pen.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
As I said, I've only got a slightly worn out black one here, but
you can get a whole array of those, can't you?
Yeah, and just bring in some colour here, just to give it a little bit of definition. But because it's felt, you could also dip it. You could dip it into your inks. If you've been doing some watercolours and you've got your coloured water left, you know, before you throw it down the sink, you could actually dip your petals into that.
Yes. I think
so
it's lovely.
Lots of opportunities for playing.
Perfect. And that is what we're all about. Let's bring us back into vision.
Not Carmen Miranda, it's Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo.
In her hair.
If it was Carmen Miranda, it would be bananas.
Yeah.
I ain't putting bananas in my hair. Yeah, my hair. Look, I put this bandana on, so look, I've got like a little bob now. That's so cute. Look at us. Ah.
Bunch of nutters.
Yes, but you know what?
Mindful nutters.
Yeah, but what fun we've had. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I feel completely de-stressed. I'm calm. I've had a giggle. I've made something which I think is just really sweet. Anyway, listen, thank you so much, lovely Sarah, for introducing the fleur to us, the fleur. And thank you to you, lovely Gary, of course. And thank you to you, lovely YouTuber, for watching. As I say, if you have liked our content, please give us a thumbs up.
Or ring the bell.
Of course, we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. There will be a guest with us next week. I've got 3 guests planned, and maybe a 4th, actually, Gary. And we're going to be doing some watercolouring. We're going to be doing some origami. And I can't remember what the other 2 people are going to be doing, but yeah, lots of lovely little things. So please do have a look in our tea time tutorial list, because you will see lots of lovely creative endeavours for you to join along with. But until next time, we shall bid you adieu. Bye.
Adieu.